okay, it's good that the newsletter got out anyway on time.
Yes.
Just after Christmas.
Yep.
Happy New
Very
Year to
pleased,
everybody. Yeah.
Happy New Year to everyone, and I love the newsletter. Nice one, Chaz.
Yeah, it was alright.
I really liked
Everybody contributed, didn't they? It's a joint effort, our newsletter, for
Yep.
everybody, which is nice, I think. But if you haven't got it, let us know. You should have it by now, because it's been out now. It should be. Everybody should have it either by post or by email. And if you haven't got it, just let us know. Let us know your
An
email address or your membership number. You have to be a member to get it. But if you aren't a
But
member,
it's
you
good
will
enough.
find it on our website.
It's worth the membership fee.
It certainly
It
is.
is.
Just in itself.
It's good to read it, to look back on last year, to see how much we've done.
Yes.
How much we've raised with
So
everybody.
much,
Just,
yeah.
It was a packed year.
Yeah.
I loved your advent calendar thing on Facebook actually for that.
Oh,
It made
yeah.
me feel like
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
we have done a lot this
We
year
have,
actually.
And other people have done stuff for us as well,
Yes.
which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always nice.
And I think the other good thing in the newsletter was the story about Hannah, that Hannah wrote herself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hannah Baldwin. It was
Yeah.
such an amazing
Inspirational,
story.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Cool.
Okay. I guess we better start answering some questions.
Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, we haven't introduced ourselves
Yeah.
now. So I'm Shaz, I'm joint chair.
I'm Hannah. I'm not a chair.
I'm Danny, joint chair with Chef.
And this is a chair.
And this is not a chair.
Perfect. So our first question is, I'm getting married in the summer. Has anyone got any tips on how to get through it without a flare-up?
Congratulations.
Yes, absolutely.
Shall I?
Yes.
I got married,
Yes,
God,
I'm
10
not
years ago
married.
now. Got married 10 years ago now, and I had been diagnosed, and I tell you what, I was given by Derriford Wonderful People is they gave me some prednisolone.
Oh, cool.
In case I was unwell, and actually I think I probably wouldn't have been unwell because actually, although it's stressful getting married, of course, it's also absolutely wonderful, and you've got loads of people around you and you feel very loved and all those kind of things. But I think the anxiety of being ill, and I totally understand the person that's asked that question, I think the anxiety of being ill is one of those things that you cannot control, and everyone talks about like bridezilla, and it's because it's things that you can't control, and you try and like, and I was actually prescribed by, I can't remember if it was Kathy or Chris, I hope they're not going to get in trouble for this, they probably don't even remember doing it, but they did prescribe me some prednisolone, and I had it with me, and I knew that if the day before I wasn't feeling well, I knew that prednisolone would cane it, just like
I've
we all
certainly
know
taken
within
Imodium.
48 hours.
Imodium.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Imodium. And other
Other
pills like that are available, obviously. But I've certainly taken Imodium when I've gone to something where I thought it might be a bit stressful and thought, well, that'll be my backup,
Yes.
my
Well,
It's
keep me
always
safe.
in my
Yes.
bag.
Yeah.
if we,
when I'm travelling.
those of us that have surgery,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have to take Imodium even when we're
Okay.
well.
Oh, right.
So,
Oh, okay.
so like I have like a basic dose of Imodium.
So that wouldn't do anything for
So
you?
well, it does, but you're talking like 20 Imodium,
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
you know there's only a limited amount. So because if you've got kind of like less bowel, and you've had certain parts of your bowel removed, that can basically lead to you having loose stools all the time, and I'm one of those people. So for me, I mean, like I'm just like you. My little insurance policy, my
Yes.
loperamide, my Imodium, which I carry everywhere with me. But also, they as I say, they prescribed me some prednisolone, which I didn't need.
That's
by the
good.
way,
That's good.
Didn't need. I was absolutely fine, and I
Yeah.
was absolutely fine on my honeymoon as well. So
Well, it's nice to know that actually you got through it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I am a control freak, and I'm a stressy person, and I was getting married in another country, and all this other kind of stuff.
Oh, you
And
got
it was-
married in France?
I got married in France.
Oh.
I guess.
Yeah, that's it, obviously.
Which was wonderful,
Yeah.
but stressful.
Yeah, speak to your IBD team, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll help you through it.
Yeah.
That was me.
So, we're after any advice with how to deal with excessive gas and the horrible smell that comes with it. Is there anything that I can do to minimise this?
The horrible smell, yes.
From diarrhea to farts.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. We've got
Cheers.
straight
Happy
there.
New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, yeah. Yeah. There is actually, on the Crohn's and Colitis UK webpage, there is, if you go on there and type into the search bar gas, and I've tried this so I know, there's a leaflet that actually tells you about sort of things that you can do, sort of dietary things you can look at, things that might help you. The trouble is, there isn't a one thing cures everybody.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be something that is going to fix it for everybody. But it does suggest things that you can do to reduce gas. So like avoid things that create gas anyway, like some vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, those sort of things tend to produce extra gas. Baked beans, obviously. Anything that makes you gassy normally is going to be worse, I would imagine, with IBD. I think it also says in the leaflet, you might well have IBS as well as IBD, because people with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, instead of inflammatory bowel disease, they have a lot more gas. Anyway, and I didn't realise this until I read the leaflet.
You have both, can you?
You can have both, yeah. So it's quite common for people to be misdiagnosed with IBS before they get diagnosed with IBD, and we all know about that. But if you've got IBS as well, which you may well have, then you might have a lot of gas. So you might get it anyway. And it also talks about ways to get rid of it. Well, number one, it might not sound as bad as you think. My thing is always walk away quickly.
Take up running.
I do remember when I was working, because I'm retired now, but when I was working, and if someone would look like they were going to come into when I had an office, I didn't always have an office, but when I did have an office, and I'd see the head into my room, I would sometimes say, if I was you, I might not come in yet. Or I'd go and meet them at the door. So, there are ways you can get around it. And there's obvious stuff like, have a nice aromatherapy candle or something that smells nicer than you do.
Anybody tried those VI poo? I don't know if there's other names for them.
No, I haven't. What's that?
You spray them into the toilet.
Oh,
before you go.
Before you go.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they work.
Do they?
Yeah, we got one. I thought I'd give it a go. A lemon idol, I think the name of the one I've got is. There is a hilarious review of it on Antonella Uncensored. Does anyone know it? It's like a YouTube channel, and she's absolutely outrageous. She's very rude, so don't watch it with your children. But it's really funny. And yeah, as I say, I've used it. Not that I'm Antonella Uncensored, but it works, And the thing I quite like about it is it's small enough to kind of fit in your bag. My handbag's over there, but you could just have it in your bag. No one knows it's there. So if you've got to use a public loo or anything like that. And
that's a really good shout for a public loo, because I think that's because if you're going at home or it's so what your family are used to it. Exactly. But if you're out and you've got to use either someone else's loo in their house, not heaven forbid, which isn't great, or in public even, like you say, it's much nicer if you feel like you can cover it a little bit. That's a brilliant idea.
Well, I read an interview with the founders of it, and they basically did it to avoid, people having smelly poos, right? But they actually have found that it's it's connected them with so many communities of people who've been unwell.
Wow.
And they've been really amazed by it. And that people with colitis. I mean,
I haven't even heard of that. I don't know.
Well, it's advertised on the TV.
Oh yeah.
But you see, I like that. I like the fact that it's advertised on the TV. I love the fact that people are advertising
about
stuff
to
do with poo on the television.
So it's
that sounds
VI poo.
VI poo.
But there are other
brands available.
We're not promoting it. But
I'm just going to make a note of that because I didn't know about it.
That'll be your secret Santa.
Well, yeah.
We're going to get a VI poo. Yeah, good shout though.
Yeah, excellent.
It's good.
Oh, Heather's,
yes, but do look up.
Heather.
Sorry. Yeah.
Heather's just tuned in.
Oh,
Hi, Heather.
Heather.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm
Hope you feel better.
What was I going to say? I forgot what.
Sorry.
I was going to say, the leaflet that's available on there. I think it's from 2015. The leaflet that's available on the Crohn's and Colitis UK website. So go to the Crohn's and Colitis UK website and see if you can, and just put in, like I say, gas, and there is a leaflet all about it. So if you've got any concerns in that area, do have a read of that, 'cause it does help. And I mean, I know it's 2015 that it was put out, but it's all still valid. The only thing, it doesn't mention VI poo yet, but that'll probably be in an updated version.
That doesn't help with farting, just to go. That's for the act. Have you got any advice on farting, Danny? No, I don't really think I do either. It's just rubbish, really.
Okay, so our next question is, what do you say when people ask you, are you better yet? This person in particular has had a really bad year and no one really understands that there's no quick fix. Any advice?
That's a tough one, isn't it? It depends who it is, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I mean, I think you'd say you'd answer differently to someone you knew really well than someone you didn't know so well.
I'm assuming from the context of the question that it's someone who you don't want to sit there and go, well, I've been and I've still got this massive ulcer, fistula, da 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 da. I'm guessing that. So, I mean, when I used to work in a place, I work from home at the moment. I work from home now.
Yeah.
School, yeah. So I was trying not to be too specific. But yeah, when I used to be in employment, I suppose, I used to say, better but not well. I used to say that to people because, like, you come back, like, and obviously I've been off sick, and then come back and you drag yourself back as soon as you possibly can. You're still not eating, you're pale, you're exhausted, you're all these other kind of things. People are like, oh, good, glad to see you better. And it's like, well, I am better than I was.
Yeah.
I'm better than I was, but I'm not well.
I think you can say something in a sentence. You can say something like, well, it's a chronic illness, so I'll never be completely cured. But at the moment, I am feeling better, thank you.
And it also
that's it. And at least they get the idea then that you've got something that is never going to go away, and they might get to understand that a little bit.
And I think also the context of the conversation. So someone's walking past you in the corridor or whatever and goes, oh, good to see you back, you better.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
I
want to discuss the nature of chronic disease. But
you're
also,
just going to go,
fine, thanks, bye. Yeah, still not well, but you don't care. But then again, if someone comes, sits down to you with a coffee and goes, oh, I've heard that you've got, this, how's it going? Then I suppose, and possibly I wouldn't necessarily talk about necessarily just the symptoms, maybe how it's feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm just, a bit down, I just feel like I'm ill a lot.
Yeah.
And how that feels, and they could probably understand better how you feel constantly being ill, rather than understand what it's like to have your symptoms, or maybe you don't want to talk about all your symptoms based on the last few questions. That's perfectly reasonable.
There are plenty of other people who have chronic illnesses, like I know people with arthritis, for example, and things like that, who also are constantly up and down, constantly have a struggle. They know exactly where you're coming from. If you're talking to someone else who has a chronic, you might not realise that they've got a chronic illness too. You might not have any idea that they've got the same sort of thing, but a lot of the time they're disguising the pain, that they're taking painkillers and stuff like that. It's a different kind of illness, but still a chronic illness, and there are lots of them about. So it's really easy to, think about it from their point of view too. You don't know that they might be suffering as well, and they might understand a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to mention a chronic illness and see. I've got a chronic illness.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so with New Year's resolutions still fresh in our mind, we've had a question around recommended diets and a good all-round diet. So any advice on food, and we'll assume just a healthy lifestyle for the year ahead.
Food is such a difficult one. It's so individual. I don't know where to go with that.
I hate being asked about special dietary requirements, because what they want is someone to go vegetarian, vegan, celiac, whatever.
We know as a team, we talk about it so often. What might work for me might not work for you, and we know that you'll eat something and I'll stay away from it, and vice. It's such
really,
an
really
individual
hard.
thing. It's good idea to keep a food diary. That always works.
That is I think that's a really good shout. Like, to write down things that you're eating and find out what works for you.
Yeah, see how you go from there.
Yeah.
But
there was a diary thing that you could fill in that you could get from Crohn's and Colitis UK at one stage.
Yes.
I remember. Don't know if you can still get it, but it's worth having a look.
I think one of the things to pick up on is the word diet, and I do think at this time of year a lot of people are trying to diet, and it depends on where you are in the curve of your disease. If kind of like you're losing weight because you're not well, or if you're gaining weight because you're on steroids or whatever. And I know that when I've been overweight and on steroids, I've gone like, oh yeah, I'll diet. And loads of those diet supplement things, not supplement things, but like Diet Coke and stuff, full of things that are really, really bad. So it would be better for you to diet in a sensible way and look at kind of like healthy eating generally, rather than kind of like quick fixes and stuff. Because I know when I've chatted about, I think I was doing Weight Watchers at some point or something, and Kathy was a bit like, careful, because loads of the stuff which is, no points or free or whatever is really quite bad for your digestive system and stuff. And so just be careful of that. One of the things I was going to say was about diet is it also depends how well you are as to what you can eat. So when I'm well, I can eat lots of things, but when I know that I'm not really that great. Another thing is it depends how it's prepared. So I might be able to eat, I might be fine with carrots, but if carrots have been fried in, and
some oily stuff. Yeah.
And I was at a curry house with some girls on Saturday night. We had a mum's night out for Christmas because we couldn't actually get together before Christmas. And people were saying, "Oh, should we just put everything in the table and have a bit of it?" And I was like, "I'm sorry to be a real pain, but is it okay if I just have my meal?" Because if I'm ill, at least I know what I had.
That's
right. I can almost go, "Oh, I had that." Whereas if I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, I won't know what I had. I won't know what set me off. I won't know if it's because. And if I can kind of go, "Oh, I had that. I've never had that one thing before," then I can go, "Oh, I won't have that again." Or am I about to have a massive flare? In which case I'll act differently. So it's about, and people, the girls were just great about it, and I was just a bit like, I felt like kind of going, "No, can I just keep my own food?" And they were just like, "Oh my god, didn't even think about it. Absolutely fine. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. In fact, should we all just keep up?" And then it was just lovely. So.
But also, diet, like you said, diet isn't necessarily, it can be different, especially with people with IBD. They might want to put on weight, so that you can't go, "Here's a good all-round diet." Because if you've lost loads and loads of weight, you can be really, really ill. I know China, you were really, really ill and lost loads of weight. You go through a stage where you have to put on some weight. You need to be eating, carbs and probably crisps and chocolate, talking of chocolate, all those kind of things.
Come round and have some of
Yes, do please help yourself trying to get rid of it. You need, it's different at that time. And like you say, other times you might be taking steroids for a while and you might have put on a bit of weight and you might be thinking, "Oh, I really need to cut down a bit." And it's really hard. I mean, just try and eat like a normal healthy person would eat, but avoid any foods that are triggers for you. If you find that certain foods are triggers for you, then avoid them. I mean, I'm like you. If I'm not in a flare-up, I can eat practically anything, quite reasonably spicy things. I don't like very hot things anyway. But if I'm having a flare-up, then I go, "Okay, no onions, no tomatoes, cut out most of the vegetables and fruit. Bananas are okay, that's about it." But you find then I'm eating crisps and chocolate and cakes and stuff like that all the time, which is what you'd think is not a good diet. But if you're having a flare-up, that's what works. But then it's working out what works for you.
One of our team, he used to go for a curry if he was just about he was having a flare-up. His go-to was to have a really spicy curry, which to me, no thank you.
No, that's right.
Right away.
Although turmeric's supposed to be quite good, isn't it?
So
maybe it was the turmeric.
So individual.
In terms of something like a buffet or something, which goes back to one of our questions before Christmas, I think people were saying, how do you kind of if I think that like obviously if I get food poisoning or something, that is 10 times more serious for me because I won't be able to get myself back on equilibrium. So I often, I probably shouldn't say this on television, but on the internet, but I will use my Crohn's disease to go, if I think that, how long has that buffet been sat there? When you turn up at a party and then 4 hours later they pull a bit of cling film off and you're like, that probably should have been in the fridge. That's like, fish, mayonnaise and all this kind of thing. And I will use that to pick around things and I'll be like, oh, I'll just have those things. And I'm very careful, particularly on something like a buffet or something like that. And things like, I don't know, I'm not thinking about summer at the minute, like all-inclusive holidays and stuff. You need to be really careful about how long that's been there, and you are going to, if there's going to be a bug and you're on immunosuppressants, you are going to pick it up and you are going to get it worse than everyone else. So I'm very careful around buffet food and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, on the topic of New Year's resolutions, there's a couple of people out there who want to be a little bit more charitable this year. So I wondered if you could share some ideas of how people can help raise awareness or funds locally, some small scale ideas of how they can get involved and support you guys as a local network.
Fantastic, it'd be great to have help with all sorts of... We're definitely getting Walk It this year. We don't have the date yet for Walk It, but we're definitely getting Plymouth Walk It this year.
Which is a sponsored walk. It
is a sponsored walk, 5k or 10k. I assume we're doing 5k and 10k. We don't know yet, but we'll be chatting with people soon.
Launching in
February, I think. Early February
it'll be launching.
Yeah. So we'll be giving out more details. So we will definitely want help with that. We'll want help, volunteers, with marshals around the route and helping out on the day, registering people and all sorts of things. So that's kind of like a big event that we'll want help out at. But people can always do their own local things. We've had people in the past do like cake sales. So they do a cake bake and they do a cake sale. They've done, we had Hannah and Chelsea did a sponsored parachute jump one time. We've had people do, well, loads of people go into things like marathons and stuff like that. But if you want to do something just at school, like a dress up day, dress up purple, that kind of thing, which we try and encourage for Awareness Day.
World IBD Day, which is May the 19th.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. It's switched up there. So
Yeah,
so
so
that
all
Friday,
those
if you
sort of
want to, wear purple, start organising it now so that the school know or
Yeah.
work knows, and sell purple buns or.
And we can help out because if you
we've
let
got
us
banners
know,
like this that we can bring along or give to you, or balloons and stickers.
Yeah.
And we'll rock up and
Yeah,
accept
we'll
a
help
check
out if you
and
want.
stuff, and
We'll help out on the day if you want to. But we'll certainly
now.
come out afterwards. Yeah.
Shaz will go now.
Yeah. So
But if you want to have like a presentation at the end of it, we're your local group, and we'd love to support people, if any way we can. So yeah, please do anything you're thinking of. If there's any way, like if your work has a charity, or if it's just a matter of having a box on, if you work in retail, maybe you could have a box on your till for us for a month or something.
yeah. Or if your company wants to sponsor a charity for the year.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
even
We
better.
love
Fantastic.
that.
You really love that.
What's that, match fund?
Oh.
Yes.
Some companies match funds.
They do,
don't they?
yes.
So
Because
if you've raised some money, your company can match.
Jack
Yes.
Craigie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He'd
Walk It.
raised the most at Walk It last year, and his parents, and I'm sorry, but I can't remember their names. They both did matched funding of their respective work. So he raised £1,000, more than £1,000,
Yeah.
and I think they each got extra money out of their companies that they donated as well, but through that matched funding.
Yeah.
So that was great. I mean, I didn't even know you could do that. That's a fantastic thing to do.
And if you run your own business, we have lovely support from people like Karen's, who's on the front page of our newsletter,
Yeah.
which is here, and she kind of gives us access to the front of she does give us money in effect because she pays for the stuff we sell. Actually,
Yeah.
she's really
She makes
amazing.
everything, yeah.
But giving us access to be able to fundraise in your premises, for example.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And that's another way of reaching out to other people. We were in Tavistock, and that raised awareness for us in Tavistock.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had lots of people, didn't we, come up to us now as well.
And for anyone who maybe has got a little bit more time, can you explain a little bit about the role you're looking for?
Oh, the finance role?
Yes.
Yes, can you explain
Oh,
what
yeah.
that entails?
Yeah, we've kind of changed slightly from, we were a chaired group before. In fact, we're not really joint chairs anymore. We're
no, we're
leaders
not,
or something
yes.
now, aren't we?
Yes.
It's much more of a democracy. But we still need someone to manage a bit of the money side of things. But it's a lot easier. It's going to be a simpler role than it used to be. So most of the money stuff is all handled by head office. So it's basically, if we do need some float for an event we're putting on, we need someone to go to the bank and get some float for us. And then we need someone to collect the money after an event and count it all up and pay it in. That's kind of all they have to do now. I mean, it used to be you had to keep a record of everything that was going on, and you had to produce the annual reports. You had to do the proper fiscal books every year. You don't have to do that anymore. So most of that's all covered by head office, and any local amounts of money that we spend. So if we need to, for example, last week, Danny went to buy envelopes and stamps to send out the newsletters. So then, at the moment, what we do is we get a cheque from our treasurer. Our treasurer writes a cheque. One of us countersigns it, and Danny has the cheque and pays it into her account to pay us back. In future, we will go to head office and get the expenses back that way. So there's going to be the new finance job is a much simpler job than it was before, and obviously that person would have our support. And what we really, really do need someone, because as I said, Liz, I mean, bless her, Liz has done this for 12 years. 12 years. She's been doing that job. She's been with this team. It's absolutely fantastic. She's done a marvellous job. and we'll be sorry to see her go. And we're actually going to take her out for a meal on Saturday. So if you're watching this, we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. But we do need someone to take her place. But as I said, it's going to be an easier job than Liz has had to do. So we just want someone to join the team and have a bit of fun with us, really.
Yeah.
And how can they let you know if they're interested?
They can message us or they can email us on our email, which I think Todd is going to... Yeah, that's okay. That'll go across the bottom of the screen.
They can message us
on Facebook, yes.
Private message,
it's a private message, so no one else will see it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of minutes left if we wanted to talk about some achievements.
Yes.
We did want to talk about some. We want to talk about some achievements
Yes.
by Hannah. Hannah, please talk about your achievement because we're so chuffed.
So I've
Hannah's award is
Crohn's disease, and what I've done while I've been off sick at various times in my life is I've run an eBay business, and I have been awarded an award, won an award from eBay, and I went up to eBay HQ in Richmond, London this week, and I was awarded with this lovely piece of glassware, which is the Inspiration Award, and
lovely.
In my little acceptance speech, which was filmed, so I don't actually know what they're going to do with it, I did talk about how life-limiting bowel disease is and how difficult it is, and I actually changed into my slippers to do my acceptance speech because I basically said I won this award by sitting around in my slippers because I couldn't leave the house because that's bowel disease.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, and they were really disgusting old slippers. So basically to everyone at eBay HQ, I'm the slipper lady now. And I talked about depression and I talked about discrimination as well because these are other things that I've dealt with in my life. And I just felt it was really amazing for me because eBay's really mattered to me, as a community. It's a community I've been part of, and it felt really nice because it felt like I matter to eBay too.
Yeah.
And it's just really lovely.
It shows
and
what you can do. It shows what you can achieve.
Yeah.
Despite.
And it's
IBD.
and I feel wonderful friends and colleagues on the committee have been such a support to me. So I brought it along to show them at the live, and they were like, "Oh, bring it on!" This is okay, I'm a total extrovert. All right then. So don't. I'm not saying everyone needs to get an award or anything, but don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't, and don't do whatever you want to do. And if you said to me, 15 years ago before I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, would I be here? I'd go, no. And that's, it's an avenue that's been opened to me by having Crohn's disease, and we always think about what's been closed off. So it's been really cool, and I'm really, really delighted, and thanks to everyone. And I know these guys always share my stuff and on Facebook and like it, so I'm really grateful. So thanks, Hannah's Games.
Yeah, you're allowed to apply.
Yeah. Please like Hannah's Games.
And just on a final note, if anyone else has got any success stories, can they share them with
Yes,
definitely.
Please do.
Because we've had Hannah. We put in the newsletter. Zoe Wright has been up recently about getting her world champion and the
one of the national
representing.
newspapers as well.
So she's done fantastically well. And
do we want to just talk about what Zoe's done?
Do you want to talk about it?
She's won a national.
a national.
But she's becoming the face of USN, isn't she?
As a bodybuilder.
Yeah. Which is amazing. Which I think is
She's
in their
amazing.
field. They do products in the field of bodybuilding, don't they? As I understand it.
So cool.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
So thank you. I'll put that again.
We're so proud of her.
Next
live.
The next live is
next live?
Thursday, the 8th of March.
Yeah, we're doing it every other month in 2018, aren't we? We haven't got any events before then, have we?
No, we want to do a quiz in February. That's our plan, but we haven't actually got that set up yet. But as soon as we get it set up, we'll be letting you know.
Yeah, keep an eye on our Facebook and Twitter pages and Instagram.
Yeah, and Instagram.
I feel that we didn't
And
say
our
at the
website.
end, so I just want to say, sorry, I didn't say at the beginning, but we are totally unqualified to say, and we are just people who are sufferers.
Yes.
So please don't go away and take any of our diet advice or anything like that. See a dietitian or see your IBD team. We are just sufferers in purple t-shirts.
Yes.
Sorry. Suddenly felt the need to say that.
I think that's everything.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
And good night.
Bye. Cheers. Good health.